We have reached a point today where we can hoard petabytes of data and optimize incredibly complex algorithms. But as our technical mastery over how to build these systems grows, we often struggle to articulate exactly why we are building them. To understand this disconnect, we have to map what William L. Weaver calls the river of reality. This starts at Tier 1, where the foundational laws of physics govern the constant flow of energy, material, and information. Eventually, those physical currents organize into Tier 2. This is the realm of biology, where raw matter assembles into cells, organs, and ultimately the complex organisms that make up the living world. These physical and biological flows create the miracle of life, but they are deterministic. They operate on instinct and physical law, moving with the current, but lacking any conscious foresight or internal sense of purpose. Human civilization, Tier 3, emerges as a cascade of dependencies. It begins with science, which studies truth to produce data, creating a stable, predictable flow of information for us to build upon. On that informational bedrock, art weaves connections between people to create a sense of membership. Religion and ethical systems then leverage those connections to codify values, establishing a flow of hierarchy, a shared understanding of what matters most. This hierarchy provides the social trust necessary for economics to build markets. As those markets grow, they generate massive logistical and social complexities that require politics and the flow of governance to manage. This 5-level system is a monument of human achievement, but it remains a one-way street. Each level simply reacts to the pressures and outputs of the level below it, always flowing upward, always answering the immediate needs of the present. This raises a critical question. How does a civilization caught in this reactionary climb step outside the flow to look in the mirror? To steer our own destiny, we need a way to stop observing the river and start examining the path it's taking. There is a 6th level at the apex of the model: philosophy. Philosophy is a meta-system, a unique layer designed specifically to reflect on every other tier in the hierarchy. In systems theory, this is the shift to second-order cybernetics. A first-order scientist observes a subject, like a cell or a market. A second-order philosopher observes the observer. They analyze the tools, the biases, and the very assumptions that the scientist uses to define reality. This mirrors the classical Greek distinction of episteme, the pursuit of verifiable, empirical facts and data about the observable world. Aristotle contrasted those facts with Sophia, or wisdom. While science tracks the data points, Sophia seeks the ultimate causes and the broader context, the why that gives the data points their meaning. Without this second-order perspective, a society possesses immense power, but lacks a mechanism to evaluate its own purpose. It becomes an engine without a driver. Philosophy produces a very tangible output: frameworks. These are the conceptual models that act as the operating systems for our reality. We can see this code in action in the U.S. Constitution. The calligraphy of "We the People" is the direct manifestation of John Locke's philosophical framework regarding natural rights and individual agency, and these frameworks even guide science itself. Thomas Kuhn showed that scientific progress happens within paradigms, philosophical windows that dictate what questions are considered legitimate and what evidence counts as truth. When these philosophical frameworks feed back into the system, they create a process called autopoiesis, or self-creation. This loop generates the flow of consciousness, a state where the system can finally observe and recreate its own structure. This feedback loop transforms the linear river into a recursive, dynamic ocean. The hierarchy is no longer a one-way street. It is a self-aware whole. Humanity now holds a conscious hand on the tiller. We have developed unprecedented power over the fundamental rules of existence, from the atomic scale of matter to the biological code of life itself. When we unlocked the ability to edit genes with CRISPR, or engineer matter at the nanoscale, we did not simply let the technology unfold. We applied deliberate philosophical foresight. Organizations like the World Health Organization convened multidisciplinary committees that placed geneticists alongside ethicists and philosophers. They weighed the principles of justice, autonomy, and potential harm, to establish global moratoriums before the technology could move beyond our control. This is the most practical application of philosophy. It serves as our primary survival mechanism, allowing us to intentionally steer civilization toward wisdom rather than blind technical progress. This architecture of self-reflection is actually hiding in plain sight at the absolute peak of our modern academic world. Why is it that experts in quantum physics, computer engineering, and sociology all receive the exact same terminal degree? Why do they all become a doctor of philosophy? Earning a PhD signifies that you have moved beyond mastering the data of your field. It certifies that you have become a philosopher of your domain, capable of questioning the blueprints, challenging the assumptions, and creating the new frameworks of the future. True progress requires stepping out of the specialized silo. It means moving beyond the technical how to embrace the profound responsibility of the why, navigating the ocean of self-awareness with intention.